Hey friends, this is MR Smart Kids Education. Today, we're going to talk about different types of dinosaurs, their origins, and their differences from one another. Let's get started. Tyrannosaurus rex. Tyrannosaurus rex, often abbreviated as T-Rex, is one of the most well-known and iconic dinosaurs. This colossal theropod roamed the Earth approximately 68 to 66 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. Its name, meaning tyrant lizard king, reflects its status as one of the top predators of its time. T-Rex could grow up to 40 feet, 12 meters, in length, and stand around 12 feet, 3.6 meters, tall at the hips. Estimates of its weight vary, but it likely weighed between 9 to 14 tons. It had a massive skull, up to 5 feet, 1.5 meters, long, filled with serrated teeth, designed for slicing through flesh. Some teeth could grow up to 12 inches, 30 centimeters long. T-Rex had powerful hind limbs that supported its massive body, while its forelimbs were relatively short but robust, with 2 clawed fingers. Its long, heavy tail provided balance and agility, especially when pursuing prey. Positioned facing forward, the eyes of T-Rex gave it excellent binocular vision, crucial for detecting and tracking prey. Triceratops. Triceratops, whose name means three-horned face, is one of the most recognizable dinosaurs, primarily known for its distinctive facial horns and large bony frill. This herbivorous dinosaur lived approximately 68 to 66 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period, sharing its environment with the formidable Tyrannosaurus rex. Triceratops could grow up to 30 feet, 9 meters, in length, stand around 10 feet, 3 meters, tall, and weigh between 6 to 12 tons. The skull of Triceratops was massive, measuring up to 8 feet, 2.5 meters, in length, with a large bony frill extending from the back. This frill likely served multiple purposes, including defense, species recognition, and thermoregulation. It had 3 prominent facial horns, 2 long ones above the eyes, which could reach up to 3 feet, 1 meter, in length, and a shorter one on the nose. Triceratops had a robust, quadrupedal build with strong, sturdy limbs. Its body was heavily built, designed to support its massive size. It possessed a sharp beak for cropping vegetation and rows of teeth arranged in batteries that were constantly replaced, suitable for grinding plant material. Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus, meaning roofed lizard or covered lizard, is one of the most distinctive and well-known dinosaurs due to its unique row of bony plates along its back and spiked tail. This herbivorous dinosaur lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 155 to 150 million years ago. Stegosaurus could reach lengths of up to 30 feet, 9 meters, and stand about 14 feet, 4.3 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed around 5 to 7 tons. The most striking feature of Stegosaurus is the double row of large, flat, kite-shaped bony plates running along its back. These plates could be up to 2 feet, 60 centimeters high and may have served multiple functions, including thermoregulation, display, and protection. Known as the thagomizer, the tail of Stegosaurus was armed with 4 long spikes, each up to 3 feet, 1 meter, long. These spikes were likely used as a defensive weapon against predators. Stegosaurus had a small head compared to its large body, with a short neck and a bulky, rounded torso. It was a quadruped, walking on all 4 sturdy legs. Its skull was narrow and long, housing small, leaf-shaped teeth designed for chewing plant material. Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus, meaning fused lizard, is renowned for its extensive armor and formidable tail club. This herbivorous dinosaur lived approximately 68 to 66 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period, making it one of the last non-avian dinosaurs before the mass extinction event. Ankylosaurus could grow up to 30 feet, 9 meters, in length, stand about 5.6 feet, 1.7 meters, tall at the hips, and weigh between 6 to 8 tons. The body of Ankylosaurus was covered in thick, bony plates, osteoderms, embedded in its skin, providing significant protection from predators. These plates varied in size and shape, forming a shield-like covering over its back and flanks. One of the most distinctive features of Ankylosaurus was its large-tailed club, a bony mass at the end of its tail. This club could deliver powerful, bone-crushing blows to deter or injure predators. Its skull was low and wide, with two horns projecting backward from the back of its head. The nostrils were located on the sides of the snout, and the eyes were positioned for a broad field of vision. Ankylosaurus had a low-slung, wide body supported by short, sturdy limbs. Its broad, flat shape helped it stay low to the ground, making it difficult for predators to flip it over. Titanosaurus. Titanosaurus, meaning titanic lizard, is a genus of sauropod dinosaurs known for its massive size and distinctive features. These herbivorous giants lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 to 66 million years ago, and were among the last sauropods to roam the Earth before the mass extinction event. Titanosaurus was an enormous dinosaur, with estimates suggesting it could reach lengths of up to 40 to 50 feet, 12 to 15 meters, and weigh between 13 to 22 tons. Like other sauropods, Titanosaurus had a long neck and tail, which helped balance its large body and reach high vegetation. Its neck was relatively shorter compared to some other sauropods, but still substantial. It had a robust, barrel-shaped body supported by four sturdy, pillar-like legs. Its massive size and build suggest it was a slow-moving, but formidable presence. Some species within the titanosaur group had osteoderms, bony armor, embedded in their skin, providing additional protection against predators. These armor plates varied in size and distribution. Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus, meaning arm lizard, is one of the most iconic sauropod dinosaurs, recognized for its long neck and elevated stance. This herbivorous dinosaur lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 154 to 153 million years ago. Brachiosaurus was a colossal dinosaur, reaching lengths of up to 85 feet, 26 meters, and standing about 40 feet, 12 meters, tall. It weighed between 30 to 60 tons. One of its most distinctive features is its long neck, which allowed it to browse high vegetation. Unlike many other sauropods, its neck was held upright, similar to a modern-day giraffe. Its head was small in comparison to its body, with nostrils positioned on top of its head. Brachiosaurus had a unique body structure, with longer front legs than hind legs, giving it a more upright posture. This stance helped it reach vegetation that was out of reach for other herbivores. The front legs were noticeably longer and more robust than the back legs, supporting its massive weight and height. Its feet had broad, rounded pads to support its size and distribute its weight. Elasmosaurus. Elasmosaurus, meaning thin plate lizard, is one of the most well-known genera of plesiosaurs, recognized for its exceptionally long neck. This marine reptile lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 80 to 65 million years ago, inhabiting the oceans that covered much of North America. Elasmosaurus was a large marine reptile, reaching lengths of up to 34 to 45 feet, 10.3 to 13.7 meters. Its neck alone could be up to 23 feet, 7 meters, long, making it one of the longest-necked creatures in the animal kingdom. The most distinctive feature of Elasmosaurus is its incredibly long neck, composed of up to 72 vertebrae. This neck was highly flexible and allowed it to reach into schools of fish or other prey while keeping its body relatively still. It had a streamlined body and four large, paddle-like flippers that provided powerful propulsion through the water. Its body was adapted for efficient swimming, making it an agile predator. Its head was relatively small compared to its body, with sharp, conical teeth suited for grasping slippery prey like fish and squid. Pteranodon. Pteranodon, meaning winged and toothless, is one of the most well-known genera of pterosaurs, recognized for its large wingspan and distinctive cranial crest. This flying reptile lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 100 to 70 million years ago, soaring over what is now North America. Pteranodon had a wingspan ranging from 18 to 33 feet, 5.5 to 10 meters, making it one of the largest flying reptiles. Its body length, excluding the crest, was relatively short, around 6 feet, 1.8 meters. One of the most distinctive features of Pteranodon is its elongated cranial crest, which varied in shape and size between males and females. The crest likely played a role in species recognition and sexual selection. Pteranodon had a long, toothless beak adapted for catching fish. The beak was sharp and pointed, ideal for snatching prey from the water. Its wings were formed by a membrane of skin and muscle, stretching from its elongated fourth finger to its ankles. Pteranodon was an adept flyer, capable of both powered flight and gliding, using air currents to stay aloft with minimal energy expenditure. Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus, meaning spiked lizard, is a genus of ceratopsid dinosaur known for its impressive array of facial horns and elongated frill spikes. This herbivorous dinosaur lived approximately 75 to 72 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. Styracosaurus was a moderately large dinosaur, reaching lengths of up to 18 to 20 feet, 5.5 to 6 meters, and standing about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed around 3 tons. One of the most striking features of Styracosaurus is its skull, which had a large frill adorned with 6 to 8 long, backward curving spikes. The frill itself was broad and relatively flat. It had a prominent nose horn that could be up to 2 feet, 60 centimeters long, along with smaller horns over its eyes. These horns varied in size and shape among individuals. Styracosaurus had a robust, stocky body supported by 4 sturdy, pillar-like legs. Its tail was relatively short and thick. Kentrosaurus. Kentrosaurus, meaning prickle lizard or spiked lizard, is a genus of stegosaurid dinosaur known for its distinctive array of spikes and plates. This herbivorous dinosaur lived approximately 155 to 150 million years ago, during the late Jurassic period. Kentrosaurus was a relatively small stegosaur, reaching lengths of about 15 feet, 4.5 meters, and standing around 5 feet, 1.5 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed approximately 1 to 1.5 tons. Kentrosaurus had a unique arrangement of bony plates and spikes along its back and tail. The plates were smaller and less prominent than those of its relative Stegosaurus, but it had long, sharp spikes extending from its shoulders and tail. The tail, or thagomizer, was particularly well armed with pairs of spikes that could be used defensively against predators. Kentrosaurus had a typical stegosaurid body plan with a small head, short neck, and a broad, rounded torso supported by stout legs. The forelimbs were shorter than the hind limbs, giving it a slightly hunched posture. Allosaurus. Allosaurus, meaning different lizard, is one of the most well-known and widely studied theropod dinosaurs. This carnivorous dinosaur lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 155 to 145 million years ago, and was a dominant predator of its time. Allosaurus was a large theropod, typically measuring about 28 to 39 feet, 8.5 to 12 meters, in length and weighing between 1.5 to 4.5 tons. Some exceptional individuals may have reached up to 43 feet, 13 meters, in length. It had a large skull equipped with dozens of sharp, serrated teeth designed for slicing through flesh. The skull had distinctive ridges and crests above the eyes, which may have been used for display or species recognition. Allosaurus had powerful hind limbs that supported its bipedal stance, with 3-toed feet armed with sharp claws. Its forelimbs were relatively short but strong, with 3 fingers each ending in large claws used for grasping prey. The long, muscular tail provided balance and stability, especially when the dinosaur was running or making sudden movements. Brontosaurus. Brontosaurus, whose name means thunder lizard, is a genus of large, long-necked, quadrupedal sauropod dinosaurs that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 155 to 150 million years ago. It is one of the most iconic and well-known dinosaurs, recognized for its massive size and distinctive long neck and tail. Brontosaurus was a colossal dinosaur, with estimates suggesting it reached lengths of up to 72 feet, 22 meters, and weighed between 15 to 25 tons. Its massive body was supported by 4 sturdy, pillar-like legs. Brontosaurus had an extremely long neck, which it used to reach high vegetation. Its tail was also long and whip-like, potentially used for defense or communication. The head of Brontosaurus was relatively small compared to its body. It had a long, boxy skull with peg-like teeth suited for stripping leaves from branches. Brontosaurus had a robust and muscular body, with a deep chest and wide hips. Its large, barrel-shaped torso contained an extensive digestive system necessary for processing large amounts of plant material. One of the distinctive features of Brontosaurus is its vertebrae, which had air sacs that made the bones lighter and helped support its massive structure. Iguanodon. Iguanodon, meaning iguana tooth, is one of the first dinosaurs ever discovered and described. This large, herbivorous dinosaur lived approximately 140 to 125 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. Iguanodon was a sizable dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of up to 30 feet, 9 meters, and standing about 10 feet, 3 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed between 3 to 5 tons. It had a long, robust skull with a beak-like mouth for cropping vegetation. The teeth were leaf-shaped and arranged in rows, adapted for grinding plant material. One of the most distinctive features of Iguanodon is its large, conical thumb spikes. These spikes could have been used for defense against predators or for foraging. Iguanodon had a bulky body, supported by strong, pillar-like legs. Its forelimbs were long and robust, capable of both quadrupedal and bipedal locomotion. The tail was long and stiff, used for balance when the dinosaur was standing or moving on 2 legs. Oviraptor. Oviraptor, meaning egg thief, is a genus of small theropod dinosaur known for its distinctive beak and crest. This omnivorous dinosaur lived approximately 75 to 71 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. Oviraptor was a relatively small dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, and standing around 3 feet, 1 meter, tall at the hips. It weighed between 55 to 75 pounds, 25 to 35 kilograms. Oviraptor had a short, robust skull with a beak-like mouth, adapted for crushing and slicing food. It lacked teeth in the front of its jaws, but had strong, shearing teeth in the back. Some species of Oviraptor had a prominent bony crest on their heads, which may have been used for display or species recognition. It had a lightweight, agile body with long legs and arms. The arms ended in 3-fingered hands with sharp claws, ideal for grasping and manipulating objects. Evidence suggests that Oviraptor was covered in feathers, which might have been used for display, temperature regulation, or brooding behavior. Velociraptor. Velociraptor, meaning swift thief, is a genus of dromaeosaurid theropod dinosaur known for its agility, intelligence, and hunting prowess. This carnivorous dinosaur lived approximately 75 to 71 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. Velociraptor was relatively small compared to other theropods, with adults reaching lengths of about 6.8 feet, 2 meters, and standing around 1.6 feet, 0.5 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed between 33 to 43 pounds, 15 to 20 kilograms. It had a long, narrow skull with a flattened snout and a mouth full of sharp, serrated teeth designed for slicing through flesh. One of the most distinctive features of Velociraptor was the large, curved claw on the second toe of each foot, which could be up to 2.5 inches, 6.5 centimeters, long. This claw was likely used for grasping and slashing prey. Velociraptor had a lightweight, agile body with long legs, a stiffened tail for balance, and relatively long arms ending in 3-fingered hands with sharp claws. Evidence suggests that Velociraptor was covered in feathers, similar to modern birds. These feathers were likely used for display, temperature regulation, or aiding in swift movements. Mosasaurus. Mosasaurus, meaning muse lizard, is a genus of large, predatory marine reptiles known as mosasaurs. These formidable creatures lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 to 66 million years ago. Mosasaurus was one of the largest marine reptiles of its time, with adults reaching lengths of up to 50 feet, 15 meters, or more. It had a streamlined, elongated body adapted for swift movement through the water. It had a long, narrow skull with powerful jaws lined with sharp, conical teeth. These teeth were well suited for grasping and cutting through prey. Mosasaurus had paddle-like limbs modified into flippers for propulsion. Its tail was long and muscular, providing powerful propulsion for swimming. Its body was covered in smooth, overlapping scales, similar to those of modern-day reptiles. These scales helped reduce friction and streamline its body in the water. Mosasaurus was a reptile and breathed air, coming to the surface periodically to breathe through nostrils located near the tip of its snout. Pliosaurus. Pliosaurus is a genus of large, predatory marine reptiles known as plesiosaurs that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 155 to 145 million years ago. These marine reptiles were characterized by their powerful jaws, streamlined bodies, and long necks. Pliosaurus was one of the largest predators of the Mesozoic seas, with some species reaching lengths of up to 40 to 50 feet, 12 to 15 meters. Its size and robust build made it a formidable predator. Pliosaurus had a massive skull with a short, wide snout and a mouth filled with large, conical teeth. Its jaws were incredibly powerful, capable of delivering devastating bites to prey. Despite its long neck, Pliosaurus had a relatively compact body compared to other plesiosaurs. Its body was streamlined, enabling it to move swiftly through the water in pursuit of prey. Pliosaurus had 4 large, paddle-like limbs adapted for swimming. Its tail was short and stocky, providing propulsion for fast swimming and maneuverability. Thecodontosaurus. Thecodontosaurus is a genus of early sauropodomorph dinosaur that lived during the late Triassic period, approximately 205 to 200 million years ago. It represents one of the earliest known members of the sauropodomorph lineage, which eventually gave rise to the iconic long-necked sauropods. Thecodontosaurus was a relatively small dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of about 6 to 10 feet, 1.8 to 3 meters, and standing around 3 to 4 feet, 1 to 1.2 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed around 100 to 200 pounds, 45 to 90 kilograms. Thecodontosaurus had a bipedal stance, with long hind limbs and shorter forelimbs. Its body was relatively slender compared to later sauropodomorphs, and its tail was long and tapering. Its skull was elongated and narrow, with large eye sockets positioned towards the sides of the head. Thecodontosaurus had a relatively small brain case compared to later sauropodomorphs. It had leaf-shaped teeth with serrated edges, adapted for slicing through vegetation. The teeth were more complex than those of earlier herbivorous dinosaurs, reflecting an adaptation to a plant-based diet. Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx, meaning ancient wing, is a genus of early bird that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 150 million years ago. It is often considered a crucial link between non-avian dinosaurs and modern birds due to its blend of avian and reptilian features. Archaeopteryx was about the size of a modern raven, with a body length of around 1.6 feet, 0.5 meters, and a wingspan of approximately 1.5 to 2 feet, 0.45 to 0.6 meters. It weighed around 1 to 2 pounds, 0.5 to 1 kilogram. It had well-developed flight feathers on its wings and tail, similar to modern birds. These feathers were asymmetrical, indicating an adaptation for flight. Archaeopteryx had a lightweight, bird-like skull with a full set of sharp teeth, unlike modern birds, which have beaks. Its wings had 3 clawed fingers, a trait retained from its dinosaur ancestors. The hind limbs were also equipped with claws, allowing it to grasp branches. It possessed a long, bony tail with feathers, which differed from the short, fused tails of modern birds, pikastyles. Compsognathus. Compsognathus, meaning elegant jaw, is a genus of small, carnivorous theropod dinosaur that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 150 million years ago. Known for its small size and agile nature, Compsognathus is one of the most well-known small theropods. Compsognathus was a relatively small dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of about 3.3 feet, 1 meter, and standing around 1 foot, 0.3 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed approximately 6.6 pounds, 3 kilograms. It had a slender, lightweight body adapted for quick movements. Its long legs and tail provided balance and speed, making it an agile predator. Compsognathus had a narrow skull with a pointed snout. Its mouth contained small, sharp teeth ideal for grasping and slicing prey. Its forelimbs were relatively short but had 3-fingered hands with sharp claws, useful for catching prey. The hind limbs were longer and more powerful, suited for running. The tail was long and stiff, aiding in balance and agility during movement. Diplodocus. Diplodocus, meaning double beam, is a genus of long-necked, herbivorous sauropod dinosaurs that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 154 to 150 million years ago. It is one of the most well-known and iconic sauropods, recognized for its remarkable size and distinctive body shape. Diplodocus was one of the longest dinosaurs, with adults reaching lengths of up to 80 to 90 feet, 24 to 27 meters. It had a relatively lightweight build for its size, with an estimated weight of around 10 to 16 tons, 9 to 14 metric tons. Diplodocus had an extremely long neck, which it used to reach high vegetation. Its tail was equally long and whip-like, possibly used for defense or communication. It had a relatively small head compared to its body, with peg-like teeth suited for stripping leaves from branches. Diplodocus had a long, horizontal body supported by 4 sturdy, pillar-like legs. The skull was elongated with a mouth full of simple, peg-like teeth located at the front, ideal for raking leaves off plants. Unlike some other sauropods, its teeth were not suited for chewing but for gathering food. Hypsilophodon. Hypsilophodon, meaning high-ridged tooth, is a genus of small, bipedal herbivorous dinosaur that lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 125 to 120 million years ago. Known for its agility and speed, Hypsilophodon is one of the most well-known small ornithopod dinosaurs. Hypsilophodon was a relatively small dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of about 6.5 feet, 2 meters, and standing around 2 feet, 0.6 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed approximately 40 to 60 pounds, 18 to 27 kilograms. It had a lightweight, streamlined body adapted for swift movement. Its long legs and stiff tail provided balance and speed, making it an agile runner. Hypsilophodon had a small, triangular head with large eyes and a beak-like structure at the front of its jaws. Its teeth were ridged and well-suited for processing plant material. The forelimbs were shorter than the hind limbs, each ending in 5 fingers, which were likely used for grasping and manipulating food. The hind limbs were powerful and well-adapted for running. The tail was long and stiff, providing balance and stability while running. Giganotosaurus. Giganotosaurus, meaning giant southern lizard, is a genus of large theropod dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 98 to 97 million years ago. It is one of the largest known terrestrial carnivores, rivaling and possibly exceeding the size of the more famous Tyrannosaurus rex. Giganotosaurus was an enormous dinosaur, with estimates suggesting it reached lengths of up to 40 to 43 feet, 12 to 13 meters, and weighing around 8 to 10 tons, 7,250 to 9,070 kilograms. It had a massive skull measuring about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, in length. The jaws were equipped with large, serrated teeth designed for slicing through flesh. Its teeth were thinner and more blade-like compared to the thicker teeth of T-Rex. Giganotosaurus had a robust and muscular body. Its forelimbs were relatively small but strong, ending in 3-fingered hands with sharp claws. The hind limbs were powerful, supporting its massive weight and enabling it to move with considerable speed for its size. The tail was long and helped in balancing its large body, especially during movement and hunting. Baryonyx. Baryonyx is a genus of theropod dinosaur that lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 130 to 125 million years ago. It is notable for its unique adaptations, including a large, crocodile-like snout and a diet that consisted primarily of fish. Baryonyx was a large theropod, with adults estimated to have reached lengths of around 25 to 30 feet, 7.5 to 9 meters, and stood about 8 feet, 2.5 meters, tall at the hip. It had a relatively robust body, with powerful hind limbs and smaller, grasping forelimbs equipped with a large claw on each thumb. Its long, slender tail provided balance and stability while walking and hunting. The most distinctive feature of Baryonyx is its elongated, crocodile-like snout. This specialized snout was lined with conical teeth ideal for catching and holding onto slippery prey, such as fish. Baryonyx had long, muscular hind limbs adapted for swift movement on land. Its feet had 3 weight-bearing toes with sharp claws, suggesting it was capable of both bipedal and quadrupedal locomotion. Ouranosaurus. Ouranosaurus is a genus of herbivorous ornithopod dinosaur that lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 125 to 112 million years ago. It is characterized by its distinctive sail-like structure on its back, formed by elongated neural spines, which likely served various functions including thermoregulation, display, or species recognition. Ouranosaurus was a medium-sized dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of up to 23 feet, 7 meters, and standing about 8 feet, 2.5 meters, tall at the hip. It had a relatively slender body, supported by 4 sturdy legs. The hind limbs were longer than the forelimbs, giving Ouranosaurus an upright posture. Its tail was long and flexible, serving as a counterbalance. The most distinctive feature of Ouranosaurus is its sail-like structure, formed by elongated neural spines extending from its vertebrae. The exact function of this sail is still debated among paleontologists, with proposed hypotheses including thermoregulation, display, or species recognition. Ouranosaurus had a small, elongated head with a toothless beak at the front of its mouth, ideal for cropping vegetation. Behind the beak, it had rows of tightly packed cheek teeth for grinding tough plant material. Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus is a genus of theropod dinosaur that lived during the early Jurassic period, approximately 193 to 190 million years ago. It is known for its distinctive crests on its skull and its presence in popular culture, although its portrayal in media often includes speculative features not supported by scientific evidence. Dilophosaurus was a medium-sized dinosaur, with adults estimated to have reached lengths of around 20 feet, 6 meters, and stood about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, tall at the hip. It had a slender, agile body supported by long hind limbs and shorter forelimbs equipped with 3-fingered hands. Its tail was long and muscular, serving as a counterbalance during locomotion. The most distinctive feature of Dilophosaurus is the pair of crests on its skull. These crests were formed by extensions of the nasal and lacrimal bones and may have been used for display or species recognition. Dilophosaurus had sharp, serrated teeth suitable for slicing through flesh. It likely used its teeth to catch and kill small prey, such as reptiles and early mammals. Pachycephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus is a genus of herbivorous dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 to 65 million years ago. It is known for its thick, domed skull, which likely played a role in interspecific combat or display behavior. Pachycephalosaurus was a medium-sized dinosaur, with adults estimated to have reached lengths of up to 15 feet, 4.5 meters, and stood about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, tall at the hip. It had a relatively small body, supported by 4 sturdy legs. Its hind limbs were longer than its forelimbs, giving Pachycephalosaurus an upright stance. Its tail was long and muscular, serving as a counterbalance. The most distinctive feature of Pachycephalosaurus is its thick, dome-shaped skull, which could be up to 10 inches, 25 centimeters, thick in adult individuals. The skull was composed of dense bone and may have been used for headbutting contests during mating rituals or interspecific competition. Pachycephalosaurus had small, leaf-shaped teeth suitable for chewing tough plant material. Its diet likely consisted of ferns, cycads, and other low-lying vegetation. Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus is a genus of large theropod dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 112 to 93 million years ago. It is renowned for its distinctive sail-like structure on its back, which likely played a role in thermoregulation, display, or species recognition. Spinosaurus was one of the largest known carnivorous dinosaurs, with some estimates suggesting it reached lengths of up to 50 to 60 feet, 15 to 18 meters, and weighed up to 7 to 10 tons. It had a long, slender body with powerful hind limbs and shorter, clawed forelimbs. Its elongated snout was filled with conical teeth suitable for catching fish and other aquatic prey. The most distinctive feature of Spinosaurus is its sail-like structure, composed of elongated mural spines extending from its vertebrae. The exact function of this sail is still debated among paleontologists, with proposed hypotheses including thermoregulation, display, or species recognition. Spinosaurus had a long, powerful tail that may have been used for propulsion while swimming and for balance while walking on land. Desmatosuchus. Desmatosuchus is a genus of heavily armored herbivorous archosaur that lived during the late Triassic period, approximately 220 to 205 million years ago. It belonged to a group called Aetosaur, which were distant relatives of modern crocodilians. Desmatosuchus was a large animal, with some species reaching lengths of up to 15 feet, 4.5 meters. It had a heavily armored body, covered in thick bony plates, called osteoderms, which provided protection against predators. These plates formed a continuous covering along its back and sides, giving Desmatosuchus a tank-like appearance. Despite its armored exterior, Desmatosuchus likely had a relatively flexible body, allowing for movement and agility. The skull of Desmatosuchus was broad and flattened, with powerful jaws equipped with small, leaf-shaped teeth suitable for grinding plant material. Desmatosuchus had sturdy, column-like limbs with clawed toes. Its limbs were positioned beneath its body, suggesting it was adapted for a semi-erect stance. Maiasaura. Maiasaura is a genus of herbivorous hadrosaurid dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 76 to 70 million years ago. It is renowned for its nurturing behavior towards its offspring, as evidenced by the discovery of nesting colonies and fossilized juveniles in close association with adult individuals. Maiasaura was a medium-sized dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of up to 30 feet, 9 meters, and standing around 8 feet, 2.5 meters, tall at the hip. It had a bulky body, supported by 4 sturdy legs. The hind limbs were longer than the forelimbs, giving Maiasaura a slightly raised posture. Its tail was long and muscular, providing balance and propulsion. Maiasaura had a toothless beak at the front of its mouth, ideal for cropping vegetation. Behind the beak, it had rows of tightly packed cheek teeth for grinding tough plant material, a common feature among hadrosaurid dinosaurs. Unlike some other hadrosaurids, Maiasaura lacked elaborate cranial crests. Instead, its skull was relatively plain, with a narrow, elongated snout. Lambeosaurus. Lambeosaurus is a genus of herbivorous hadrosaurid dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 76 to 75 million years ago. It is known for its distinctive cranial crest, which varied in shape and size among individuals and likely played a role in communication and display. Lambeosaurus was a large dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of up to 33 feet, 10 meters, and standing around 8 to 10 feet, 2.5 to 3 meters, tall at the hip. It had a bulky body, supported by 4 sturdy legs. The hind limbs were longer than the forelimbs, giving Lambeosaurus a slightly raised posture. The most notable feature of Lambeosaurus is its elaborate cranial crest, which varied in shape and size depending on the species and individual. Some crests were hollow and tube-like, while others were solid and hatchet-shaped. These crests were likely used for display and communication, possibly signaling dominance or attracting mates. Lambeosaurus had a toothless beak at the front of its mouth, ideal for cropping vegetation. Behind the beak, it had rows of tightly packed cheek teeth for grinding plant material, a common feature among hadrosaurid dinosaurs. Rajasaurus. Rajasaurus is a genus of theropod dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 million years ago. It belonged to the family Abelisauridae, known for its distinctive features and dominance in the southern continents during the late Cretaceous. Rajasaurus was a medium-sized theropod, estimated to have reached lengths of about 20 to 30 feet, 6 to 9 meters, and stood around 8 feet, 2.5 meters, tall at the hip. It had a robust body with powerful hind limbs and relatively short arms ending in three-fingered hands equipped with sharp claws. Its skull was short and deep, with powerful jaws lined with serrated teeth. Rajasaurus had a distinctive skull with prominent crests and bumps, indicating the presence of specialized structures such as horns or ridges. These features may have been used for display or combat within the species. The hind limbs of Rajasaurus were longer than the forelimbs, indicating it was a bipedal dinosaur that walked on two legs. Its feet had 3 weight-bearing toes with sharp claws, suggesting it was well adapted for hunting and gripping prey. Nodosaurus. Nodosaurus is a genus of herbivorous dinosaur belonging to the Nodosauridae family, which lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 100 to 66 million years ago. It is known for its heavily armored body, making it a formidable presence in its prehistoric environment. Nodosaurus was a medium-sized dinosaur, measuring about 13 to 20 feet, 4 to 6 meters, in length, and standing around 4 to 5 feet, 1.2 to 1.5 meters, tall at the shoulder. It had a heavily armored body, covered in bony plates, known as osteoderms or scuts. These plates provided protection against predators and other threats. Despite its armored appearance, Nodosaurus was relatively agile and capable of quick movements when necessary. The skull of Nodosaurus was small compared to the rest of its body, with a pointed snout and a beak-like mouth adapted for cropping vegetation. Its neck was relatively short and stout, supporting the weight of the armored plates. Nodosaurus had 4 sturdy legs with hoof-like claws, indicating it was a quadrupedal dinosaur. Its hind limbs were slightly longer than the front limbs, giving it a slightly raised posture. Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus is a genus of large, herbivorous hadrosaurid dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 76 to 73 million years ago. One of the most distinctive features of Parasaurolophus is its elaborate cranial crest, making it one of the most recognizable dinosaurs. Parasaurolophus was a large dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of up to 30 feet, 9 meters, and standing around 10 feet, 3 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed approximately 2 to 3 tons, 1.8 to 2.7 metric tons. The most prominent feature of Parasaurolophus was its cranial crest, which extended backward from its skull. The crest varied in shape and size among individuals and species, but generally resembled a long, hollow tube. Parasaurolophus had a bulky body with a long, slender tail. Its limbs were adapted for both bipedal and quadrupedal locomotion, allowing it to move efficiently on both land and in water. The skull of Parasaurolophus was elongated and narrow, with a pointed beak at the front. It had rows of tightly packed teeth suitable for grinding tough vegetation. While direct evidence of skin texture is limited, it is assumed that Parasaurolophus had scales covering its body, similar to other hadrosaurid dinosaurs. Eoraptor. Eoraptor, meaning dawn thief, is a genus of one of the earliest known dinosaurs that lived during the late Triassic period, approximately 231 to 228 million years ago. It is considered a basal theropod and provides crucial insights into the early evolution of dinosaurs. Eoraptor was a small dinosaur, with adults reaching lengths of about 3 feet, 1 meter, and standing around 1 foot, 0.3 meters, tall at the hips. It weighed approximately 22 pounds, 10 kilograms. Eoraptor had a slender, elongated skull with a mix of teeth shapes, indicating an omnivorous diet. It possessed both serrated, meat-slicing teeth and leaf-shaped teeth for processing plant material. It had a lightweight, agile body built for speed and agility. Its slender frame and long legs suggest it was a fast runner. The forelimbs were relatively short compared to the hind limbs but ended in 5-fingered hands, with 3 prominent fingers equipped with sharp claws. The hind limbs were long and powerful, adapted for swift movement. The tail was long and acted as a counterbalance during movement, helping Eoraptor maintain its agility.